This is my August 1st, 2026 garden tour. And we've got our chickens over there. This is my tub for doing cold therapy in a grounded way. I've got my tomatoes over here. It has rained 14 inches this month. Actually, almost 15 inches this month. So this has been a real test for the tomatoes. This is my black cherry tomatoes. Here's one that are kind of this brownish color. These are my favorite, best tasting tomatoes. And you can see they're pretty vigorous. They're pretty tall here, and they're fairly productive as well. But there's been a lot of disease this year because of the rain. So you can see down there, there's some plants that just really didn't make it and didn't produce. And I have, this is like a heritage tomato. And I'm kind of going off the heritage tomatoes because they're so, the larger heritage tomatoes, they take time to ripen. And all the convolutions, they're more prone to disease and different problems like that. I've got parsley here. Now this here is my Juliet tomato, and you can see a little bit of cracking, but mostly none. So this I've been able to harvest quite a bit, and I sliced them into like little rounds, like a dime, and put seasoning and salt on them and dehydrate them, and then they're tomato snacks. Way yummy, very yummy. I've got sweet potatoes in that bed. This is the Sweet 100 cherry tomato. I had sun gold tomatoes in here. They just really didn't make it. There's one of my, I don't know if you can see the colors on it. That's my Queen of the Night tomato. They have like darker leaves as well. This one has been very pruned by hornworms. This is a Steppas tomato, which is a heritage tomato that will produce even in bad weather. But it really didn't keep up with the hybrid tomatoes. The hybrid tomatoes have done better. Got basil. These are some paste tomatoes, like Amish paste, and just did not do well. See that they're like dead. Here's one of my hybrid tomatoes. You can see they're looking pretty nice. So there we go. There's one. Here's another one. Then I have tomatillos here. I've learned that you must plant at least 3 tomatillos to get and then I've got some kind of wild morning glory in here. Oh, I want to show you. This is my turmeric, and it bloomed. Look at that. Isn't that just gorgeous? I just think that's so pretty. Look at that. It's got a little, like, you can see it in there. But it's just gorgeous. There's another one in there. That's my leftover ground cherry, which I didn't plant. It planted itself, which is always nice. More basil. Plum tree, we lost half of it this year. It just died. There's a crab apple. This I did some popcorn, and a lot of it didn't germinate. I'm not sure exactly why. So it's a little sparse. And I've picked most of it because when it's low, you can see I had animals get to it of some kind. Here's another one of my hybrid tomatoes. So see, that's just, it came out perfect. So I'm going to do that. This was my greens row, and I kind of have let it go to seed. The more roots you have in a bed, the roots actually feed the bacteria that transport the nutrients. Look, here's a little bok choy trying to live in there. And there's some basil in there. This is some broccolini. And here I'm picking tomatoes. So there's Juliet and Black Cherry, and that's a hybrid, and then the hybrid is the nice one, and then the Heritage are the kind of funky shaped ones. Here we go. Lots of zinnias. Zinnias are great for pollinators. I did not plant any zinnias this year. These are all volunteers that I may have moved. And then this is the Mexican sunflower, which is also a great pollinator. Let's see what else we got here. So this row, I've got a mint bed here, which I will have to be vigorous about keeping it pruned. And this is purslane, which is a fantastic ground cover. Survives basically total neglect. More zinnias. I've got in here, this is called Sugar Rush Peach. And they are a fruity hot pepper. So your first taste is kind of fruity, and then it goes hot, which is really nice. Then I planted, this is Goragicha, something like that. And it is the Korean pepper that's used for making red pepper flakes. This one is Thai Dragon. I'm going away from the skinny peppers because they're just harder to process. So then there we got, I've got some really nice jalapenos from Sandia Peppers. Then I got banana peppers. I think I got, yeah, those are some like macaroni peppers, some ancho peppers in here. Those are an ornamental pepper called sweet peckle. And then I've got some green hatch down there. The green hatch are really nice peppers. And then some more ancho peppers. Some volunteer Thai basil. Great pollinator and very tasty. Mixed with peanut butter and coconut oil for a Thai flavored sauce. Very nice. And here's my second batch of popcorn, and hopefully it looks like it's gonna cross pollinate a little better. I planted in the middle, I don't think any of this left. I planted a row of sugar snap peas in the middle, just kind of actually for nitrogen. And I've got some okra. It looks like most of my squashes kind of didn't make it. I planted nasturtiums with the squash. They're supposed to be a really good pest disruptor. So you want it mixed in with the squash. Then I've got lots of cucumbers. Most of these were volunteer cucumbers, which are kind of, and so I let them grow. They're kind of the that bristliness, and but there's a variety of cucumber called Green Light Hybrid. Let's see if I can find one. Here's one. They're a really nice size, thin skin that you can eat. Here's another one. So that is all I'm going to plant next year. I'm not going to do any of these other types of cucumbers. And if I have volunteers come up, I'm not going to accept them. This is a Sikkim cucumber, which is it's like a Nepal cucumber squash. Or melon, I guess. I don't know. They're tasty, but they're just, in terms of processing, compared to the light green cucumbers, which come from Totally Tomatoes catalog. So I'm going to stick with those. And I've got some squash in here. And this is a kind of a purple sweet pea. And this melon is kind of growing up. Here's a melon. And this right here is a volunteer Chinese lettuce leaf, or it when it's raw, it tastes like dandelion. When it's cooked, it's a very nice spinach. As you can see, it's impervious to heat. Here's some more melon. I put runner beans above it, which looks, the melon is like, we really would like more sunlight, so I probably won't do that again. Well, here we've got some green beans. Then cosmos for pollinators. And then this is, I use the green tower for eggplant. And this one that's the best eggplant I've ever grown. So when they're they have a little bit of give, they're not hard as when they're ripe. And this one feels like it's almost ripe. The eggplant is very prone to pests. Look at this leaf. And see, they have these, there's some kind of flea beetle. So they really need to be grown in pots. So this is, when I grow it in the ground, they're just completely decimated. So that's no good. And it's also got strawberries in there. And then this row is my onions row. The flowers there, that is garlic chives that are flowering. This section I haven't weeded. There's actually onions under there. That section I've weeded. Here's some more Thai basil, and there's a watermelon plant in there. Volunteer zinnias, volunteer nicotania, volunteer ground cherry, volunteer, I think that's called blue spice basil, which is nice. And then that's a comfrey. And the big leaf over here is horseradish, which you can put a leaf of the horseradish in a sandwich like mustard. It's way yummy. And then I'll tell you about the electroculture of all this. So each of these rows has about 8 inches down. There is a galvanized wire. At this end, there's those donut-sized batteries, or donut-shaped batteries. The wire goes through the donut-shaped battery, and then we connected them along the bottom of the whole rows, and connected them to this pole. So this is a 28-foot electroculture tower, which is galvanized pipe. And we got a copper antenna on the top, which is a little artistic. It probably might be better if it wasn't artistic. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, so there is, under each of these rows, there is a wire that goes all the way to the top. They're connected at the bottom, going across. And supposedly it increases the paramagnetism in the soil. And so that holds water. So like in drought, the bed with the wire should have more water. And it also has more microbes and more cation exchange for minerals. So we don't have a comparison bed, so we can't compare with or without, so I don't know if it's improved. These beds are straight north-south. So that is straight north. The magnets are at the south end. But we had these beds, we thought they were north-south. And we actually, when we took the compass out and redid it, the north-south we were off by 30 degrees. So, the north-south purpose is because the telluric currents, magnetic currents, the electromagnetic currents that go around the planet, go north-south. So it's in alignment with those. So there's my peppers. They're looking pretty happy. Green beans and squash. And so that's what we're doing there. And then over here I have a very overgrown herb bed. There is purple coneflower echinacea in here. There's the little purple flowers you can see is my chives. There with the kind of the white flowers is oregano. There's some roses there. There's some sage in there that looks like it got too much rain this year. I was like, I can't take this. This bed was potatoes that I harvested about a week ago, and then I put in sweet potatoes. We're in Alabama, so hopefully we have a long enough hot season for me to get 2 crops out of this bed, which would be nice. This bed is got carrots and weeds. So let's see, do I have any proper carrots in here? There's a proper carrot. So I might have to harvest some carrots. So that is the garden. Oh, here we got some roses. Very nice. This is fennel, which comes back every year. Very nice in salad dressings. This is black cloth, what do you call it? The garden fabric. And you want to keep no holes in it and sweep it. So the more you get accumulated on it, the more stuff grows on it. But this was a gravel bed in here, which was impossible to keep weeded. So that's why that happened, which is low maintenance. I have a lavender in there, and lavender really doesn't like the south, so it doesn't look like, that's way too much rain for lavender. So it's done, I think. And then rosemary, which is indestructible. So that's the garden.